You have tuned in to Authors Up here on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. Your hosts are authors Ruth Griffin, Andrea L. Hines, and yours truly, Victoria Henderson Poole. We love what we do, and we know it is every author's desire to get their work to a greater audience. Authors Up is a forum for authors by authors, those who are already published and those who want to be, along with other writers and playwrights. Here, we provide an opportunity for their work to be showcased as we share our own, gain tips and tools, information and insight to not only enhance the writing process, but be able to just enjoy the journey. Those who are willing to put pen to paper will usually have a story they are willing to tell, and they are invited to tell it right here. And if you are not a writer yet, no worries. We want you to be a part of our listening audience. So take notes if you like, send in your questions, or just feel free to comment on the candid conversation, because it's time for Authors Up.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Authors Up. We are here every Sunday evening at 7 p.m., and I tell you what, it wouldn't be the same without you. We're so glad that you decided to join us this evening. We have an exciting program planned for you, and I tell you what, we're going to get right into it because our guest has something. It's a great book. It is a wonderful book, and we want to give her ample time to tell us all about it. So we're going to get started like we usually do. You have tuned in, of course, to Authors Up, which is on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. And we're going to start like we usually do. You know, we like to come on and kind of give you our little week in review as we welcome you to the broadcast. So like I said, we are glad that you are here. And I am here with my co-host, Ruth Griffin. You want to say hey to everybody, Ruth?
Hey, everybody. We're glad you're here. Thank you for joining us.
And you, Victoria, you want to welcome the folks?
Yes, welcome everyone, and welcome Bronze Girls. Glad to be here another week.
That's right. Well, let's see. My weekend review, I didn't have a lot of great and wonderful things going on. Just got a lot of writing projects that I have and making some progress on a lot of those. Got some new formatting and changes going on with ALH Broadcasting, so you can look for some different things there coming up very, very soon. But it was pretty much a good week. It's always a good week. And I am going to have to get back on my health journey. I don't know why the health journey is so difficult. I won't say difficult. It is challenging for me, though. It really, really is. But I'm trying to do better. And I'm staying on my water, Victoria. Got my steps up, Ruth. But still don't feel like I'm doing as well as I could do. So I'm going to kind of reset a little bit, refocus a little bit, and see what I can do on my health journey. And
Mindset reset. Remember that? Mindset
that's
reset.
That's right. Mindset reset.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I said it. I should be doing it, right?
Exactly.
When you talk about things, you ought to be the first one to take the instructions. So that's exactly where I am right now. But all in all, like I said, I had a good week, and I'm just glad that we are here tonight. We have a guest with us who has just a great information. I can't wait for you guys to meet her and have our listeners hear what she has to say. But for right now, I'm going to ask Miss Ruth. Miss Ruth, what was happening in your world for the last week?
Well, for the last week, I was home alone. which, you know, when you're 47, I know, right? So my husband, he gets like buku vacation. So he actually took the week off. He went to visit his mother in Florida, my daughter as well. And, you know, I got a new job, so I'm home alone, which is no big deal. And, you know, until you realize that you're still acting like that 6-year-old when you were, and you're still scared of the dark. And I'm like, you know what? I'm 46. I should not be scared of the dark. But I leave the kitchen light on. I leave the little bathroom light on. The TV stays on, and that's the weird part because I can't sleep with the TV on. So the TV is on, but the sound is off. So it's like,
okay,
I should probably work on that. Yeah, that must be it. So, hey, I mean, other than that, it's been a good week in the daylight. So, you know, I've actually been doing dishes. I haven't been letting it clutter up, but it's just interesting to see how you still react as an adult.
You miss your husband.
You know?
That's what it is. You miss your husband. That's all. It's okay. It's okay to say that.
Yeah, no. I do, and I will admit that. But I also admit that I'm scared of the dark. So, yeah.
Well, we're going to pray for you. We're going to pray for you. And
thank you.
Don't call. I was going to say call me, but don't call me after 11.
Okay.
So that's no help, right?
Yeah, it doesn't get dark out here till like 9 o'clock. So it's like,
right.
Yeah, and I live out in the country too, and that's the weird part. I can be in the city and be all right, and maybe it's all the noise and the lights, but out in the country it gets dark. So yeah,
we're gonna pray for you, baby.
Okay, thank you. Well, how about you, Victoria? How was your week?
Well, my week has been good, recuperating from the wedding. Congratulations again to my sister and her new husband, the new Samuel Livingstone. So, like I said, recuperating from that, and I'm still tired, but it's done, and they are on the honeymoon, got them sent off. But I was also, I forgot to mention last week that I did submit my manuscript for my journal, which is the accompaniment to my book, when I need a word God speaks. And so that was such an accomplishment that I just overlooked that with everything going on with the wedding. But I submitted it well ahead of the deadline. It is with my publisher, Ruth. And I'm just glad it is out of my hands. It is released, and I'm just looking forward to continuing to work on it and getting it out into the world because it's a labor of love, and I'm looking forward to it.
Do you have a date in mind, Victoria?
No, I have to meet with my publisher and get those details from my publisher, Ruth. So I don't have those details.
We will consult and get back with you.
Okay, but it is released. It is released.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is enough on me. Tonight we have a very special guest with us tonight, and her name is Sandra DuBose. She is an award-winning motivational speaker, author, and multi-talented performing artist. So let me continue with talking about her a little bit. She uses her powerful voice as a personal development coach to teach life-changing principles that inspire confidence and build self-esteem in diverse audiences of adults and teens. Sandra's personal story and accomplishments have garnered national media attention and have given her an honored place in history as the former Mrs. Black Carolina and the first bald beauty queen of the state.
Now, Sandra is not your typical speaker. She is a bona fide superstar in the making and creatively uses her voice through words and song to ignite a fire in others that compels them to let their light shine from the inside out. Sandra is on a global mission to reach people all over the world as the host and producer of her new podcast, The Urban Party. where she leads liberating conversations with amazing guests to encourage adults to get out of the rat race, live their passion, and uncover their purpose. Sandra is with us tonight to talk about her book, My Crown and Glory. It's Not About the Hair. 6 fundamental principles to healing emotional wounds and build healthy self-esteem. Now you know what to do. You got to send up some hearts for our guest as we welcome her and turn things over to Ruth to get our interview started. So welcome to you, Sandra.
Woo! Welcome. 5 snaps and 3 circles.
Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate it. Peace and blessings to all of you, and thank you for having me on this show.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. We thank you for joining us. You had a short clip on Spectrum News a few weeks ago. My husband actually works for Spectrum, and while he didn't shoot your story, he saw it before it aired, and he recommended that I watch it and contact you to be on our show, and I am so glad that he did. I read your book, listened to your podcast, and I am truly just amazed at what you've accomplished, and I just want to say thank you and welcome on our show.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you to your husband. Good looking out. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Now, you have done so much, and we certainly want to cover all that, but we do want to talk about your book as well, My Crown and My Glory. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So the book, My Crown and Glory, It's Not About the Hair, was written because I really wanted to be able to help others cross the bridge, if you will, as I had, from having low self-esteem for whatever the circumstances may be for them, to getting to a place of really loving yourself, really accepting ourselves, and really kind of going through these different steps to realize that it's really not an outward journey, it's an inward journey. It's how we feel about ourselves. It's really about healing our thoughts and our minds and any belief systems that allows us to believe that we're less than enough, less than worthy, and really, just doing that inner work. And I really wanted to share, pieces of my life, experiences that I had been through, and really illustrate that, the principles of that, of how to do it in terms of, looking at pieces of my life to really illustrate that. So I just wanted to share and just be able to help other people, because I know that self-esteem is something that we all struggle with on some level or another, man or woman, no matter what your circumstances are. It's something that we have to be intentional about continuing to build ourselves up throughout our life.
And that is absolutely correct. I'll tell you, even now at 47, I'm still discovering areas where my self-esteem could use improvement or boost, or just, even in some places, just, complete remake. And it's not just, I've come to understand it's not just one thing. It's just certain areas of how you see yourself completely.
Totally.
But, I have to say for the book, you are a great storyteller. It's like having a conversation with a girlfriend, and I love that you intermingle, not just the principles, but the big girl stories, or the big girl lessons, as you put them.
Right.
So as you were writing it, was it difficult to revisit those places, or was that part of your healing?
Oh, gosh, it was very much so. Writing a book was nothing that I ever aspired to do. I always enjoyed reading books, especially self-help books and stuff like that, but I never saw myself as an author. But as a motivational speaker, it was just one of the natural order of things to say, you need a book to be able to encompass your message as you're going out speaking to people, to leave a piece of yourself with them. So it was really a challenge for me to say, wow, can I do this? How does this work? How do you write a book? I never even thought about, but it was something that was definitely, I would say, spirit-led for me because I was like, God, unless you tell me what it is that I'm supposed to say, I don't know what to say. So it was really a spiritual journey. And like you said, it was healing. It was painful. I definitely had to pray over some of the experiences that I did share to say, you know, do I want to be that transparent? Do I really want to share all of that? That's putting a lot of myself out there, but it was about who I knew it would impact, and it was worth it. And so, yeah, there were some chapters I definitely had to cry through it. I had to really surrender, you know, to say, okay, God, there's still some work that needs to be healed here, but it was very cathartic. And at the end of the day, I was just super proud that I pushed through it, that I got it done. But the most rewarding part is the impact that I see that it has with other people and how it resonated. You know, it's like it just makes it all so worth it. Every tear, every moment of it is like, oh, it landed where it was supposed to land. It's helping in the way that I hoped that it would. So it's so worth it, so worth it.
That's awesome. Now, your book is also a workbook. Is that how you envisioned it, or is that how it developed?
Yeah, you know what? The thing for me, I think, like I said, I love reading self-help books. I'm a big fan of Iyanla Vanzant and Lisa Nichols, you know, so many people that are in the business of helping others and empowering others. But at the end of the day, we get stuck with, you could just read a story, read the words, but where does the change happen? At what point do you really, you know, take the pages off of, you know, out of the book and apply it to your life? And I wanted this book to be an opportunity to shake up people's emotions, whether it's laughing, whether it's relating to some childhood stuff that I've been through, like, oh, my God, me too. But I really wanted others to start to think about, where do you find yourself in this experience? What's your story, you know, and give them an opportunity to reflect and just pause and ask themselves the hard questions. And I think, you know, not everybody likes to do that. That's the uncomfortable stuff. It's easy to read a book, listen to some flowery words, feel motivated, get excited, put the book down, and nothing changes. But when somebody says, let me ask you a question, then you're like, oh, wait a minute now. We wasn't talking about me, we were talking about you. It's like, well, I'm here to talk about you. Because by the time you get to the end of the book, I want there to be some level of transformation and awareness for the reader. That's the goal. That's the only goal.
That's incredible. That is incredible. And I think you have done that with the book.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to turn you over to Andrea, and she'll have some questions for you.
Okay.
Well, Sandra, I tell you what, I love the way the book is written, especially because of that workbook style that you have there. And when I was looking at it and reading through some of the questions that you posed, I did find myself sitting and going, uh-oh, wait a minute now. What happened?
She all in my business.
Slip that one in on me. And it is so interesting because there are things that we think we've gotten over and that we think we have a handle on and think we've gotten past. And the reality of it is we're not there yet.
No.
We're not there yet. And this was a great way to kind of reposition my thinking on some things and, you know, just getting a little deeper, going a little deeper. Now, you talk about the 6 principles, and I don't know whether you can answer this or not, but while all of them are, I think, very, very important, all of them are really essential, if you will, to the healing process and building healthy self-esteem. Is there one in particular that you feel is maybe just a millimeter above the rest of them in importance? Which do you think is the most important one?
You know, I can't say in terms of what's more important, because here's the thing. It's like everybody's in a different place in their development, right? So for me, or, you know, for me, maybe I need to really work on gratitude. Like if we had a kind of like a graph we were looking at a graph, and it's, we could kind of look at each principle and give a meter for each person. I'm at 25% in this category, me 50% here. It's like everybody's in a different place. So I think that it will resonate for you, that pain point of the area for that person that they really need to focus in on. They're all equally important, so maybe you need to have more gratitude, and that's the area that you need to really delve into and start to build yourself up in that way. I will say what my favorite, I think the overarching message with all of it for me would be owning your power, right? So if that's the one thing that I want people to walk away with, is the realization that we create our lives and that we have the power to change our lives in an instant because we can change our perspective on a matter. So just like you were talking about, the challenges you're having with, the health thing and all of that kind of stuff. And I listen, I was raising my hand. Amen to that. I'm with you. It's difficult, right, to stay the course because I'm addicted to sugar and I'm an emotional eater and food loves me and I love food. And so I have to, but so we already know, right, what we should be doing. However, we have these emotional ties or whatever the case may be. We have these defaults of these habits, all of that kind of stuff. But what we know for sure is that if at any given moment we really woke up tomorrow morning and we put our foot on the ground and we decided in a place inside of us that was non-negotiable. Today is the day. I am not going back. I will do this. I will drink water. I will exercise. I will do everything I know that I need to do, and I'm not turning back. Just like anybody who's decided I'm not doing drugs anymore. Today I decided that story is over. And we're that powerful that when we really align our minds with our will, we can do anything. And that is even deciding that in spite of whatever our challenges may have been, whatever we look like on the outside, we make a decision. I love myself today, no matter what. And it's that same, it's just in that instant. That's the miracle. That is the miracle. We are walking miracle. Whenever we're ready, our life can change.
Wow.
Just that fast.
Now, we're definitely on the same page because I had in my notes, ask Sandra to talk about owning your own power.
And there you have it. See, I'm so powerful. I knew what was on your list. I already knew that. I mean, I love it because it applies to everybody, and it applies to every situation. But that's like the real awakening as we develop as women. We come into our own power. Like, I don't have to be in an unhealthy relationship. I have the power to decide I don't want to be here anymore. I can create the kind of loving environment and relationship that I really want. Like, whatever it is, if you don't want that job, we can decide that day, you know what, I'm going to start applying for something else and create a different experience. It's really deep, and we have to keep reminding ourselves of the power that we possess, and sometimes we just totally forget. We totally forget.
I think that is so true. That is so true. Now, I want to ask you about something else, too, because there was a place in the book where you said, if I could find the strength to run out of Satan's claws, then surely I could get back on track and create a life worth living. And you started by asking yourself, how did I get here? How difficult was it for you to answer that question for yourself and make the decision like you're talking about now, making that decision to move from victim to victor?
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, sometimes for all of us, we have to hit rock bottom, right? It's like where there's nowhere else to go but up. It can't get no worse. This is the moment.
Amen.
We've got to do something different, or we can die with inside of ourselves. We can kill that part of ourselves that knows that there's more, that yearns for more, and kind of resolve to just say, oh, well, I guess this is just me. And we've seen so many people in their lives they've given up on themselves. So it's like if there's any fight in you, that the big part of you, the conscious part of you that's fighting to be the best version of you, it's like you have to war against that. And I think everybody kind of has to get to that up against the wall, that part in their lives where you have to make an absolute decision. And so for me, I was a teenager at that time, and I was talking about that experience of leaving a physically abusive and mentally and emotionally abusive relationship, right? And it was just like, I don't want this to be my story because we know how this ends. Either I'm going to kill him or he going to kill me because it's something about to happen. Like, this is too volatile. This cannot end well. So either you have to decide, am I going to live or am I going to die? And if I decided I'm not going to die, if I didn't let you kill me today, I decided I'm going to live. And what do I want that to look like? This is not working. So I have to make some other decisions and be willing to tell the absolute truth. How did I get here? What? And not victim stuff. Not, oh, well, he did this and she did. No. What decisions have you made, and what made you make those choices? And how could you make better choices tomorrow? It's like owning your own stuff, and that nobody likes to do that because it's so easy to play the victim or to point fingers and say, well, I didn't get this and my mama didn't and nobody told me, and we could play it all day long. But at the end of the day, growing up means regardless, there's a lot of people that didn't get everything that they deserved or needed or what have you, and yet they still succeeded. So what's your problem? You have to own your stuff, good or bad. And when you can, like, take it on and say, you know what, that's my bad. I did that. That was my poor choice. And you know what? All I can do is forgive myself, offer myself some grace and make a decision to make a better choice the next time. That's it, and that's all. But not everybody really wants to tell the truth about their part in the story. And so, but that's the secret sauce. That's the secret sauce. And so that's how you get from victim to victor, is that you have to tell the truth about you and then change, be willing to change.
Wow. Tell the truth about you, be willing to change, and offer yourself some grace.
Yes, that part. The grace.
I love it. That's my triple play. That'll get me through.
I think the grace is the most important part, right? So the grace is where the self-esteem comes in, because then it's like, give yourself permission to be human. It's okay. Yes, you messed up. Yes, you didn't make good choices, but you did the best you could at the time with what you knew. So give yourself an opportunity to grow and say, that's where I was then. Here's where I am now. Give yourself some grace. And I think the more we can do that for ourselves, the greater. That's another principle, I would say, for how do you build healthy self-esteem? Through grace. Through grace.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm going to. I could talk to you for the next 45 minutes.
Oh, keep going.
Victoria is here. I think I want to let her say something.
Well, I'm fine with being silent, but oh my goodness, I just want to say I love the book. I really do, and I'm just going to say it at the top. This is something I usually say at the end, but I'm going to say it right now. Listeners, get the book. Get the book. Get the book. You will not be disappointed. I'm going to tell you honestly, you had me in right away at the intro. I mean, just at the intro. The way you tell your story and the way you set up the book. I mean, and as the more I read, it's like parts of your story is my story. And it's parts that parts of my story is parts that not a lot of people know about. And so immediately I was in. I was just enthralled, and I kept turning the pages like, okay. But it's just it's very introspective. and you got to do the work. I love everybody that you love. So I said, wow, I could have wrote this book because, I'm a Iyanla Vanzant guru. And I tell you, but one of the things that I really loved was when you was talking, the pep talk just immediately got me in. When you said that, about transformation and not having an app for that. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. And I actually got that quote from Lisa Nichols. She talks about, personal transformation is not a Google download, right? So it's that whole, it goes back to the grace that it takes time, right? We can't, it's not an overnight transition like tomorrow I'm going to wake up and be a size 6 again. It's not going to happen tomorrow. But it's the everyday drinking water. It's the everyday going for the half an hour walk, or it's the habits that you create that creates change over time. And so it's like getting a realistic expectation of what this is supposed to look like, so you won't be disappointed and you won't set yourself up for failure. It's not that fast. It took us a while to get here. It's going to take us a little time to develop some different habits and to arrest that stinking thinking, that default. Our default settings are jacked up. We have to change our default, right? And we have to hack our own brain in different ways by doing things like affirmations. And we have to be intentional. Like, it's a whole strategy when you need to overhaul your mindset and really begin to believe differently so that you can feel differently, so that you can move in the world differently. And it just takes time.
Amen. It really does.
Yeah.
Well, as much as I like to talk about the victorious parts of stories, and our listeners know that, can you tell us about, because you just didn't get here overnight. You definitely have a story to tell. And so could you tell our listeners a little bit about how losing your hair affected you, and a little bit about how you got to here from that without telling the whole book? Because we want our listeners to get the book. We just want to tease them a little bit.
Yeah. So the basis of the story, my story, is that at the age of 25, I developed the autoimmune condition, alopecia areata, which is why I'm bald. And I talk about having, like any woman, right, going bald. You're 25 years old. I used to love my hair. I used to rock a real cute hairstyle like Anita Baker. You couldn't tell me nothing.
Oh, yes, Lord.
It's
one of my favorites.
That's what I'm saying. I used to think I could sing like her. I did my little rock like her. You couldn't tell me nothing. And so to start losing your hair, and within 3 years developing the rarest form of this condition, which is called alopecia universalis, where you lose all of the hair all over your body, and ultimately you look like a patient who's going through chemotherapy, right? So we all can identify with what that looks like when you're this hairless human, and it's just like, okay, what in the world is this?
Right.
Especially when this is no cure, like this is my permanent look for the rest of my entire life, and my life just got started. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, devastating. And so, the whole book is about this journey, of course, immediately feeling depressed and having low self-esteem and wearing a wig and going through all of this hiding, but then being forced to go on this inner journey of overcoming, because this is not a situation that I can control. There is no cure. I have to learn how to live in this new experience and accept and mature that there are things in life that you cannot change. All you can do is decide to change yourself and the way you go through it. And after you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, at some point you got to decide, I'm not going to just go out like this. I got to fight back somehow. I got to figure this thing out. And nobody can do that for you. Nobody can give you self-esteem. You have to really believe that thing from inside, for real. So it took me on a journey of really saying, okay, how do I build self-esteem? But then the question became, why don't I feel beautiful? And it was beyond anything that was going on externally. The answer was that in my mind, there were things that I needed to heal in my perception of myself There were wounds that were there that I had not healed, that chipped away at my self-esteem. Before I ever lost my hair, there were things that needed to be fixed. So if I was going to ever be able to be anybody's bald beauty queen of anything, I first had to go deeper inside and learn how to love the woman that I am, not just the way that I look, but who I really am inside, and appreciate that woman. And that's really what the story's about. And so, you know, as I've journeyed through that, I ended up winning a pageant. Once I got over the hump, I ended up becoming an advocate for alopecia awareness and realizing that everything that God allows us to go through, it's for His glory. It's for His purpose. If you surrender and you let Him use you, He will use it for His glory, and He's done that in my life. That's the miracle. That's the purpose. And that's why I'm on the phone talking to you today, because God willed it to be so. And when I surrender to His will, not mine, because if it be my will today, I'd be rocking a whole ponytail.
Okay? Down to the floor, right?
Down to the floor. I would still love me some hair. I have my edges laid on, you know, my baby hair. But it's not my call. It is not my call.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just have to be grateful and rock it out. And the reward of being able to do that boldly and to use this as a platform for God to use me has created a legacy from my life, things that I could not have ever strategized or saw. That, you know, it's like God is so, He's just awesome. He's an awesome, awesome Savior.
He really is. He is.
He is. He'll do it. He can fix it. He can fix it. Not right away, because it took 8 years. I wore a wig for 8 years before I took off, you know, before I came outside bald and let the world see me for who I really was. So, again, it's the grace, it's the patience, it's the while you're becoming, right? And so, but now I'm in a position where I can feel comfortable in my skin, and I can help other people feel comfortable in theirs. So what greater reward is that than that? Yeah, definitely.
I love that. I love your story.
Awesome.
The very thing that was so devastating for you. And I tell you, I just got, I'm all choked up. You know, I'm the teary one. I'll cry first in a minute, but it's the very thing.
I'm a community crier. I'll cry with you.
Oh, my gosh. The very thing that devastated you is what God is using for His glory, and what God is using through you to help other people. Because you already helped me. I tell you, your voice is so soothing, and I have, I've seen your pictures, and you are beautiful. And just listening to you, you are beautiful inside and out, and that is a winning combination. I could listen to you forever, and I could just imagine how a class would be. You know, do you do master classes? Just a master class on self-esteem.
You know what? I'm actually in the process of putting all of those pieces together, right?
Wow.
So it's like, stay tuned definitely with the podcast and on my social media, because all of it God is showing me, it's like, He's showing me what's next, right? And I love it. I can't I don't know which one of you were talking, but you were talking about self-esteem early in the conversation, right? And still there being areas that you have to work on. And it made me think of like, and it made me think, again, me too, I'm 47 as well, and it's always, right, so that's the one thing I want people to know as well, is that is no place of arrival. It's not like, okay, we've arrived, I feel great, story's over.
Yeah.
No, right, because it's always like something else that we have to come back to center, come back to the truth that we know, because our humanness, it's easy to love yourself when everything is going your way and you look the way you want to look and your money's right, you got a new outfit, got your hair did, toes done, nails, you're fine. But when you're going through and you don't have the money and you're like, I don't know when I'm going to get this hair done, wearing the same clothes, we fall back into those feelings, and we have to like keep working on building ourselves up, or life will take you through some new challenges. We got this COVID weight, I'm feeling some type of way.
Come on.
summer
Come on.
here. I ain't ready for the summer, but it's here.
See, now you telling my story now.
I mean, it's my story too. I have to read my own book. I'm be like, okay, what I said about owning my power. On today, I feel like, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. I hope I don't run into nobody looking the way I'm looking. So it's a journey. It's totally a journey.
It is a journey. Before we turn it over to Ruth for our tip, can you tell our listeners where they can reach you? How can we get the book? How can we find you on social media? I'm telling you, listeners, you're going to want this one for real.
I hope they do get it. It's definitely a fun read, and it will definitely – and the one thing I'll say about this book that women have told me, and men, I love that too, when men are like, I'm saying that book was real good. I enjoyed that. That helped me too. Okay, brother, I love that. But it's one of those kind of things where you have to be ready, right? So you women have said, I've read the book. I enjoyed your story. There was so much, but I wasn't ready because there are those pain points, right? Not everybody's in the season of healing, but then they might put it on the shelf. And when that time and that season comes in their life, they come back to it, and then they're ready to do the work, and they're ready to journal and say, okay, now, what did you ask me again? So you have to really be ready to do the work for yourself, But they can definitely stay in contact with me. My website is sandradubose.com, which is SANDRADUB as in beautiful. OSE.com. On social media, on Instagram and on Facebook and Twitter, it's Bald Beauty Queen, BALD Beauty Queen. Look me up. I'm a motivational speaker. I speak nationally to women and to teens especially, just doing the work to really help other women see the beauty in them that's already there. And this book will definitely help any person who is struggling with their self-esteem, just to give you some tips and some encouragement on how you by yourself can overcome that and start to really love and appreciate the person that you are.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness.
You're so welcome.
Oh, I was not paying attention to the time. Do we have time for the tip, or we could just still keep talking?
Ruth, it's up to you, Ruth. Where are you? What do you want to do? How long should it?
We can. It should be about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Go for it.
Go ahead. All right. Okay. So my quick tip tonight is how to write an outline. I get a lot of questions from would-be authors on, where do you start? What do I do? I have this great idea. I want to tell my story. What do I do? So I always recommend to start an outline. And if you guys even, think back to grade school, where you did just the basics of writing, outline was part of that. And just to give you some really, 4 quick tips on writing an outline, just in case you're like me and you don't remember what you did yesterday, much less, English class from 30 years ago. You can start, unless you know your topic inside out, if it's personal, you can skip this one, but, try to, do some reconnaissance reading, unless you know it inside out, try to think of new and interesting ways that you want to address your book, because, again, you want to share something with your audience that, perhaps someone else hasn't done before. You want to take it from a new angle. So just, do some research, read, what other people have done, and then decide where you want to go from there. Write down your objective. What do you want your reader to understand by the time they get through with the book? What do you want them to know? What do you want them to walk away with? So put some thought into that objective. See if you can put it down in one sentence, and then, having that will help you stay focused on, what you're writing. So create a list of main points that you want to make. Just make a list. And once you do that, the last point is go ahead and organize it, revise it, eliminate, do whatever you need to do to that list. Think about your objective, and then think about the points that you want to make. I usually try to break it down into chapters. Okay, first chapter, I want to do this. Second chapter, I want to do this. But however you organize it, just think about, the points you want to make, and, from there you can shape it to however you want it to look, and that will be your roadmap, so that when you sit down to write your book, you'll have something to guide you. And then at that point, you just need to start writing.
So, I like that, Ruth. Thank you. Yeah, it's good.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, we indeed are out of time this evening. This is the fastest time during the whole week, it seems like.
I'm telling
time flies when you have fun. Isn't that what they say? And I tell you what, it has definitely gone by tonight. This has been a wonderful. I hope you listeners have enjoyed this as much as we do. Sometimes I think we have more fun, but I really hope you got something out of this tonight. This has been wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But Ruth, do you have any closing remarks for tonight?
I would just like to thank Sandra for joining us. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I want to remind our listeners, if you have any questions, any comments, you need to get some information, or you have an idea for, a suggestion for a guest, you can email us at authorsup@gmail.com.
Okay, and Victoria?
Get the book, everybody. You will not be disappointed. Get the book and do the work.
That's it. That's it. Get the book and do the work. Sandra, it has been a pleasure, I tell you. And I sometimes try to make little notes to jot things down to close out our program and close out the things that I guess it's too many. I just got too many. So many good
They got to they have to hear the replay. How about that? Hear the replay.
I'm telling you, so many nuggets that you dropped on us tonight. Absolutely beautifully said. Book is beautifully done. We just loved everything about it. And as you get closer to the masterclass, Authors Up is here. So we want you to come back and tell us some more about it. We may be the first 3 attendees. Who knows?
Exactly.
I promise I will. And thank you guys again so much for the opportunity to share. Continue to do what you do in supporting authors the way you are, because we absolutely need it. There's so many wonderful stories out in the world. So thank you for giving us a platform to share ours. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for taking advantage of it, being with us tonight. And you know what, guys? We start the same way that we end, and we're going to end with sending some hearts up for Sandra and all that she has done for us tonight to let her know that she is indeed loved and appreciated. And we are here every week, every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Until then, this is Andrea Hines with Victoria Henderson Poole and Ruth Griffin. And there's never a dull moment here at
Authors Up.